Oscars, we love them. We love them. We love this show. We look forward to it every year. But I'll be damned if they're not the biggest. Because the 323 has its own personal awards now. We have our awards to hand out in film because they can't get everybody. You miss people every now and then. So that's where Travis, Byram, and I come aboard to take over, and we hand out our awards in the only way that the 323 network can hand out an award, and that is with top fives. Yes, folks, we're doing the imaging and everything. These are the top 5 personal film awards for 2025 or 2024 in 2025. We're starting out with a bang.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is the 323's Top 5.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
That's right. We're getting funky with it. With the top 5 personal film awards. So, Travis, we're going to tell the people how we do it here. We have 6 categories to go through, and of course, we'll expand in the future. We could not do original song because I'll be damned, I couldn't think of a song. And we can do the score. We might expand into music next year, but for now, we're going to start with the top 6 here. And we're going to do best top 5 films from each of us. We will do top 5 male performances, top 5 female performances, no lead, no supporting, just overall performances from those 2. We will do our top 5 breakout performances of the year, our top 5 directors and directorial performances, and the top 5 screenplays of 2024 in film. So I think we'll start right there with screenplay. We will go, that's one of our passions. It's a shared passion for both of us. We both have a history in screenwriting a little bit. You more than me. This man's a champion, folks. Follow him, find his work. But I will go ahead, I will start, and I will lead to you since you are our network film expert. I'm going to let you have final say on all of these. And I don't have OLIs necessarily here, but number 5, Travis, on my top 5 screenplays of the year, I'm going with a film that really captured my eye. Like, as soon as I saw like the little trailer, it caught me on Twitter. And I was fascinated with the film from there. Loved the idea of it. It was very brilliant. Petered in a little places, but overall a super cool idea, and that is Late Night with the Devil. It was a fantastic little horror film. Definitely go check it out wherever you can. Very original, very creepy, and just a really, really cool way that they go about it. And I'm a Late Night fan, so I'm a little biased to it. I think we're going to share a few of these too. Number 4 for me is, again, something ties a little bit to a late night and a show that I'm very passionate about and love a lot. That is Saturday Night.
Ooh.
Love the script of it. The dialogue is just bap, 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 bap. The whole movie is that exactly. It's just nonstop. The wit in it is incredible. The jokes made in it, some of the shit that is said, I can't believe it. It is a fantastic film, fantastic archive, and fantastic journaling of Saturday Night Live and its origin. Number 3 for me, I have The Brutalist. Beautiful story, absolutely epic and creative story to tell of the immigrant experience, especially coming out of Germany and the Holocaust. It's just a beautiful story of the power of immigrants and especially, the dynamics of power as a whole. Definitely a great script. Number 2 for me, a horror movie that's not a horror movie, but it's more of a horror movie the closer that the further that we get into 2025, and that is Civil War. Alex Garland's script is terrifying. If you're watching the current climate of not only our country, but the world as a whole, but capturing a perfect look at divisiveness through the eyes of journalistic figures and what you can become desensitized to and what you never really get desensitized to. It's a very, very biting take at what our current political climate looks like and the divisiveness in this country and how bad it could really get. Number one, though, best screenplay of the year for me, the number one screenplay of 2024 is Conclave. Loved it. Travis described it perfectly. It is Mean Girls set amongst the papacy. It is.
That's it, man.
Just the cattiest, bitchiest cardinals that you will see. And the dialogue is incredible. The story it tells, the moral and theological debates are wonderfully represented throughout the film. I loved it. Loved the screenplay. That's my number one for me.
Fantastic, man. Yeah, we got a lot of similarities here. Great list. Number 5 is also going to be Late Night with the Devil.
Look at that.
Great take on the Exorcist genre. Yeah, you said it best. Loved such a great concept. Such a great concept of basically a found footage film. And even though the ending got maybe a little too Lynchian for me, got a little out of the bounds of what they had created so far, had a blast with this one. Would have loved to have seen this get a little more love. Number 4 is going to be Pharrell Williams' documentary Piece by Piece.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a documentary, but I still think to frame a Pharrell, just the idea of a Pharrell Williams Lego documentary where they do say shit, they do smoke weed, and they're just pushing the boundaries of what we're used to in a Lego film. I just found it so charming. I was with our good buddy Aaron Haynes, and there was so much Virginian representation in that film. I loved seeing that. What a strange idea. I knew there was no way in hell that it was going to do well at the box office. It didn't. I thought maybe it'll do well at the Oscars. It sure didn't. Not animated, not documentary, not anything, not best use of Pharrell Williams. Damn. But a wonderful time. Number 3 is going to be Blink Twice.
Okay.
Yes, Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. Really good, I'd say, not to give too much away, but good post-Me Too thriller. Has an excellent twist, if a little campy, a little pulpy, that I did not see coming. Very Hitchcockian, and yeah, you need a tight script to get that across, and I see Zoe doing a lot more work in the future with the genre. Number 2 is going to be Civil War. I will say I really expected this to be more in the vein of a, fuck one side or fuck the other, but it's not red versus blue. It really surprised me and just went the route of this is a love letter to photojournalists and how far they're willing to go to get the news to us. I just love a ragtag team also doing a little road trip movie. It was comfort food for me, but also being pretty daring with what it's saying. So another one that got some love at the WGAs. Would have loved to see that nominated somewhere this season. And then number 1, of course, I'm agreeing with Reid Murphy. I'm agreeing with the Academy. It's got to be Conclave. Just the most, seriously, some of the most fun I had with me and like the 10 other boomers that were there on like a Wednesday night at a Regal. We were going, ooh, oh, did he really hit the vape? Ooh. It was just so twisty. Ralph Fiennes is excellent. Stanley Tucci's fantastic. Our friend John Lithgow killing it. But to me, the script was the star of Conclave.
Absolutely. Well, look, we have our first, because I figured if we agree on one, it is an absolute, no arguments had. decisive winner of a 323 Top 5 Film Award, and we have our first. Congratulations, Conclave.
Woo.
Yeah. Look, we'll see how we do in the breakouts category. And I want to go to breakout performances. Now, this one is a little, you can decide how we decide a breakout. You will define it how you want. Mikey Madison was somebody that's an OLI for me here. I was not sure whether to put her as a breakout. I know there are a lot of people who had no idea who she was before this. And then there are people like me who know her very well from Better Things and known her for a long time. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and a couple I didn't even think about it till Oscars night that she is the first Ghostface to win an Oscar. So congrats to her, because she had a great turn in one of the Scream films. So I don't have her in my breakouts, but number 5 for me here, I have young actress, former Mormon, Sophie Thatcher from the film Heretic.
Oh, nice.
She is a former LDS church member like myself, and she used that well in the film, playing a sister missionary who is trapped in this home that she and her partner go to visit. It's held by this wild religious all over the place dude played by Hugh Grant. And it's a fantastic film. Go watch it. But she gives a great performance, a great, strong performance as somebody trapped in this house. Number 4 for me, I have Clarence Macklin from the film Sing Sing.
Oh, yeah.
I loved what Sing Sing did altogether, of combining established actors like Coleman Domingo along with brand newfound actors who, former prisoners themselves, former incarcerated figures. And Clarence Macklin gave a great performance in this film, and I hope he continues to get some great work going forward. Number 3, I have Ella Hunt from Saturday Night. Ella Hunt had a very hard task of playing Gilda Radner, one of my favorite SNL cast members of all time. Gilda Radner was, I think, the blueprint for so many female comedians going forward. You could see her work in a lot of actresses, even to the point of like Emma Stone. Emma Stone has cited Gilda Radner as one of her favorites. Ella Hunt played her perfectly. Got every bit of the, comedic timing down, had all of the humanity down, and just like somebody that you love. You can't wait to see her again on there. I think that she can continue to deliver with those kind of comedic performances, not just doing a Gilda Radner impression, which is what I love the most about the film. And actually brings out one of my OLIs, Corey Michael Smith, did the same thing, playing Chevy Chase in the film.
Oh, killer.
Not just a impression, but they actually delivered a great performance along with it and created a character alongside these great people. Somebody that I can say did the same thing is my number 2, Monica Barbaro from A Complete Unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful depiction of Joan Baez. Showed it with that Oscar nomination, and I believe will have a great career going forward. Seems like a really great presence. But number 1, though, man, this dude took off. This dude blew up internationally. He's been called the Ryan Gosling of Russia. He said he doesn't know what that means. It is Yuri Borisov from Anora.
Absolutely.
That bald head from Igor, he was fantastic. Great character. I think he's going to have a wonderful future moving forward in film. I hope he gets a lot of really great, diverse roles.
Love that, man. Yeah, love the Saturday Night Love. Even though we didn't get as much of an exploration into her as we did other characters, you're so right. Ella Hunt captured the essence of Gilda, that kind of ethereal, floaty, just a good vibe, just a great vibe. All right, number 5, I am going with, starting off with a movie that's going to make several appearances in these categories. I watched during my 31 days of Halloween we are starting off with Jack Haven and I Saw the TV Glow.
Okay.
Yeah, performed under a different name, a dead name, now is kind of leaning more towards kind of a trans mask appearance. But yeah, Jack Haven kind of played the opposite to Justice Smith, and I Saw the TV Glow. It's a very restrained performance. They have very wild eyes, and in a movie like that, it's all in the eyes. The horror, the confusion of going through puberty and not knowing if anyone is like you, and then finding your person. It was just a tender performance, and I am excited to see wherever the hell they go up. I hope they keep collaborating with, I want to get this right, Jane Schonbrun, I believe is how you say her name, the director, one of my favorites out right now. Number 4, not going to take up too much time with this because we're going bar for bar here, but I got Clarence Macklin and Sing Sing.
Love it.
Yep, I would gladly. I don't know who I would trade out, but I would trade out somebody to put him in supporting actor. But I am so glad that he did get an Oscar nomination for penning the story to this. He is an absolute dynamic presence. Number 3, I'm going with another youngster, going with Brandon Wilson from Nickel Boys.
Good clue.
Yes, of the two main lads from the story, he he just reminded me of that kid that you meet in school that has a smirk behind their, a smirk behind every smile. He's always a bit of a troublemaker, but it was such a heartfelt performance. He feels like, instead of like a 25 or 30-year-old trying to play a teenager, it's nice to see teenagers playing teenagers. And I just think he has a huge career ahead of him. And this isn't his film debut, but certainly I think his biggest role. And you could do a lot worse than a Best Picture nominee coming out the gate.
100%.
Number 2 is going to match your number 1 Academy Award nominee, Yuri Borisov. Again, another one where it is so much of that performance lies directly not in his chrome dome, but in his eyes. When he's, when they're kind of roughing up Annie a little bit, and he's, he's kind of looking at her like he wants to protect her. He so clearly, over the course of the day or a couple of days when it goes down, is so into her. The little moment that they have when they're watching TV, it's so tender. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, I felt like I was intruding. I was watching their chemistry kind of sizzle. I think he has another long career ahead of him. I hope they don't just put him in a Bond villain role right off the bat. That would be pretty lame. Put Yuri Borisov, the Russian Ryan Gosling, in something worthy of his talents. And number 1, the muscle mommy of the year, Katie O'Brien in Love Lies Bleeding. Woo! This was the very first movie I saw in 2024. And of course, Kristen Stewart, we all know and love, but playing her opposite, this mysterious drifter who kind of falls for Kristen and is a mysterious presence. It's a very sexy performance. It's a very emotional, tender performance. Hey, as long as directors aren't afraid of hiring a strong woman, let Liam Neeson retire and put Katie O'Brien in some of his films. I think she's up to the task. She exploded for me. I thought she was wonderful.
Love it. That's a wild movie. Love Lies Bleeding. That's a
bonkers.
That movie takes a turn. That movie gets crazy. Definitely go check that out. That's a great list. Good job. Look, let's keep it rolling. Best directors, our top 5 directors of the year.
Right.
I'm going off, for me, it's the top 5 performances by these directors. What really caught my eye? What really showed me something I haven't seen, or, locked me in completely to a film? So, OLI for me is the Academy Award winner for Best Director, Sean Baker. He is an OLI. He did not make the top 5 for me on this. I was a little disappointed when I saw the Oscars list for Best Director. I thought they could have. I thought there were a lot of people they missed, and I have some of them here. Number 5 on this for me is Jason Reitman of Saturday Night. Not a perfect movie, but it's a movie that catches such a chaotic, frenetic pace of getting that hour and a half before Saturday Night Live debuted its first episode, and it perfectly captures how chaotic it was, how insane all of it, was to even think about, let alone execute. And
the calamity.
Yeah, Reitman captured it all perfectly. It made me laugh. It made me feel inspired in a lot of parts. And you go from that chaos to just the skating rink scene. There's an ice skating rink scene outside of 30 Rock between Lorne and Gilda and John Belushi when they're trying to, wrangle him in and back into the studio. That, I don't know, it just made me, you feel calm with the characters as you're going through it. So I loved what he did with this. Number 4, though, such an experimental type of movie, unlike anything I've really seen in years, and that is what Ramel Ross did with Nickel Boys. To do this film, which is, it digs into your heart, it's gut-wrenching in parts, and it tells an incredible story literally through the eyes of its characters. You're getting the POV shots here the entire time. Just a wonderful, wonderful experiment, and I can't wait to see what he does creatively next. Played at Georgetown too. Basketball player from Georgetown. If we need the sports connection, is really awesome.
Let's go.
Number 3, I have Edward Berger, who directed Conclave. Again,
yes,
we've said what we need to say on Conclave. Captured absolute bitchy pettiness between Cardinals, but also had some incredible shots. I will forever think about the shot of the Cardinals returning in the rain, the umbrellas, seeing it from a top point of view. I thought everything was captured. I don't want to spoil it for people, but there is a scene towards the end that completely caught me off guard. Comes from the heavens themselves. Scared the shit out of me. Because I didn't realize what just happened. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. Doesn't reach number 2, though, for me. Number 2 was somebody that I was very upset did not get an Oscar nomination, and that is John M. Chu for Wicked.
Ooh.
I've been a fan of Chu's work for a while, since Crazy Rich Asians. I loved what he did with In the Heights. He has shown that he is a wonderful, wonderful collector of colors and bright scenes and choreography and music, and he showcased it all in Wicked. I thought it was wonderfully directed. I thought it was a huge task to, try and adapt one of the biggest Broadway musicals of all time. This easily could have been a failure of just massive. Like, the hype was crazy.
Insane, bro.
It should fail and would fail by all other accounts, but he made it work to wonderful degrees, and I can't wait to see how he closes it out with part 2. Number 1, though, for me, it goes to a dude who put in a shit ton of work on an epic that, most people aren't going to think this is going to sell. Like, you're not going to go for a 3.5 hour epic film about just chronicling the life of an immigrant. But what Brady Corbet did with The Brutalist was worthy of number one for me.
Yes.
Would have awarded him the Oscar. I think it was just so many parts of it that just stick with me. And ultimately, if you can tell a 3.5-hour story in, I won't say brisk time, but in a way that it doesn't feel like 3.5 hours, you got my heart. You got my vote. So that is my number one on my top 5 directors.
Excellent, man. Excellent. And honestly, hearing those, I want to add those to mine. You know, I wish sometimes the Oscars were like Critics' Choice, where they nominate up to 10. I mean, all bangers you pointed out, but number 5, I am going with Travis. I'm trying to think of if it's Robert or Roger. I think I've probably called him both, but we're going to call him Mr. Eggers for Nosferatu.
Well, alive for me too.
Yeah, man. I'll be honest. I was a little disappointed that this was his next film. I have so loved his original horror films and, horror adjacent in The Northman. I was like, this is a story, the Dracula story, which is all Nosferatu is. They couldn't, back in 1922, I think Bram Stoker's family who had the rights, they were like, you can't make this Dracula. So they were like, how about Nosferatu? It's just Dracula again.
But hornier.
Why wasn't that the tagline? But yeah, he made it scary. He made it shades of blue that I have. What else would you call that except nightmare blue? And yeah, he gave the original a run for its money. Very excited to see what he does with an original werewolf script that he's doing. Should be coming out, I think, in 26 or 27.
Very.
And we just know that it'll be in the dialect of its time. Willem Dafoe is going to be a wolf at some point, and there's going to be wolf sex. We can count on that.
Extra horny Dracula, extra horny wolves. Can you do?
And then sticking with the horror theme, actually for these next two, we're going to go with recent Oscar nominee, I want to say Coraline Fargit for The Substance.
Yes.
Yeah, I did think The Substance got a little repetitive with its themes. I think if a half hour was cut from it, I think we would be none the wiser and it would flow just as good, if not a whole lot better. But when I think of Best Director, I'm not thinking anonymity. I'm thinking, here's a person who has their vision. Here's an auteur at work. And I have not seen her previous films. Would love to check them out now. But The Substance truly is a film of substance. Super creative shots. Was disappointed it didn't get in for editing. Yes, it's a simple story, but told with the ferocity and boldness that Miss Fargit did it. I eagerly await what she has next. The same with another female director of horror. That's going to be Jane, I want to say Schonbrun, for I Saw the TV Glow. Now that our beloved David Lynch has gone on to the other side, I think Jane is definitely the heir to the throne. Really topical, creepy, ambient horror throughout this one. And she kind of does a little play on Buffy the Vampire Slayer with I Saw the TV Glow. A great story about friendship, puberty, growing up, mental health, all in her strange vision. Definitely one of my favorite finds of my Halloween movies. And I would recommend, again, please, please, please watch Red Rocket and watch We're All Going to the World's Fair. Some of my favorite 20 films that I found last year. Number 2. This was a franchise that I was a little cold on that swept the Oscars back in 2021. But truly, I think what made the difference was turning on the captions and understanding what the hell they were saying. And I thought this brought it to a whole different level of storytelling. I don't know. Speaking of David Lynch, as good of a director as he was, he shit the bed with his Dune. But Denis Villeneuve's Dune 2, that is my number 2.
Hard not to award that.
Yeah, man. Truly epic filmmaking at its finest. Again, would have loved to have seen that in the director's spot, but alas, his day will come. A lot of people talking about Dune Messiah pulling a Return of the King, sweeping all the technicals, sweeping Best Picture, and you know what? I think I might be just here for it. But number 1, once again, we're matching up. We're going Brady Corbet with The Brutalist.
Hey!
Yeah, man, I gladly would have given him the Oscar as well. I really think I benefited too from hearing his WTF interview with Mark Maron. The guy is, he's dying for this shit. Literally. He's like, the man is exhausted. I hope I didn't tell this on the last episode, but Mark Maron said, "Are you excited for the Oscars?" And Brady Corbet said, "I'm excited for it to be over." He put everything into this. Of course, famously, he got it done for a clean 10 mil in 33 days. If you told me it took 2 years of filming and $55 million to make that movie, I would have no problem accepting that. Right. The fact that he got it in that time, the man is economical at the very least, and I think it was a master work. I'm looking forward to seeing his earlier stuff. Vox Lux, I know with Natalie Portman, was his biggest one up until this point. But I'm going to echo what he said to close this list out. He said that if he wins or he loses, this buzz that he's been getting is going to give him the currency to make another film. And I think you and I will be first in line to see that.
100%. I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. All these directors, I'm very excited to see their next project. Now, I love that you brought up the substance in this. That was an OLI for my screenplays. And as we transition to best female performance, our top 5 female performances of the year, Demi Moore was, I'm not going to say highly expected, but she was a betting favorite to win lead actress at the Oscars. And God, how art imitated life as the younger starlet and Mikey Madison beat her to win that award. What an insane way for that to go. I will kick off the top 5 female performances of the year by putting Demi Moore on my OLI. She did not make the top 5. Very brave, very bold performance. But number 5 for me here is one that I think was very understated, very held together till parts where she needed to explode, and somebody that I thought was underrated throughout the entire Oscar race, and that was Felicity Jones for The Brutalist.
Nice.
I loved how she just kind of took command as soon as she got onto the screen. Her character just took over and delivered a hell of a monologue towards the end, a monologue that completely broke the movie at that point. So, loved her there. Number 4, somebody who the Oscars couldn't bother to nominate for this. But I think as two people who have journalism backgrounds and understand, it's, you know, and we watch and see how journalists do throughout this shit, Kirsten Dunst in Civil War. She was
what a badass.
Such a badass, and like you could read everything in her face, from the desensitized nature she was having to all of this war-torn conflict to ultimately the horror of seeing everything that she was chronicling, you know, overseas now happening on homeland. and kind of feeling broken and defeated that I thought I was telling you all to not do this shit. Turns out you didn't care, you didn't listen. So I there was so many elements of her performance that went from badass to wonderful, beautiful to heartbreaking. Great time in showing by her. Yeah. Number 3, I have the winner of Best Lead Actress, Mikey Madison for Honora. You said it perfectly last week when we were previewing the show. She captures Brooklyn stripper perfectly. Like, she delivered such a great grown-up performance here and really just commanded the screen the entire time, demanded your respect, demanded your watch. Loved her in this. But number one, man, I'll knock them right off the bat here. It's Wicked. It's the Wicked gals. It's the Wicked gals. But what order? Number 2, I have Cynthia Erivo. Number 2, Cynthia Erivo. She was absolutely commanding, stunning. Her eyes just in the Ozdust Ball. Her eyes, her performance through that dance, everything about it. Like, I was locked in. I was tearing up watching that. She had me by the neck through that. But number 1, man, Ariana Grande. We've talked about it all, since the movie came out. A superstar turn performance. She locked that movie down, stole every scene that she was in, and made me genuinely laugh throughout it. And not only that, her singing, which I know a lot of it was done live on the set. God damn. Like, just overall a damn near perfect performance by her there. Ariana Grande is my number 1 for Wicked there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. No spoilers at all that she will make an appearance. Number 5 for me is Zendaya in her steamy role in Challengers. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I think I got a little too used to her playing kind of a, submissive stoner in Rue in Euphoria.
Yeah.
She was a boss babe in Challengers. She had her 2 little white boys, as she said, wrapped around her finger. It was so cool to see her in such a bracingly adult performance. And I pray that she works with Luca Guadagnino again. I think he's gotten the best performance from her out of her yet. She's everyone's crush. She's everyone's Hollywood's looking at. And I think this was a role that was up to, that was up to her standards. Number 4, I'm going with Elizabeth Olsen and His 3 Daughters. It's a movie that I think would make a clean transition into a play. So there's not, with that said, all that's left on the table is the performances. She plays kind of the sister that definitely has to be the mediator. She has to be the middleman. She's kind of a hippy dippy, real big deadhead. And, again, I think it was just so nice to see her out of the tights. So nice to see her, apart from Vision and take on just a meaty, dramatic role. And I thought she absolutely killed it. I know Natasha Lyonne was getting most of the love for that movie for supporting actress, but Elizabeth Olsen, she just had my deepest sympathy because that was a tough crowd of sisters. Number 3, I hope I get this name right. Feel free, anyone out there, to correct the pronunciation. I want to say Adria Arjona in Hitman.
Awesome movie.
Yeah,
Deep dive movie.
Yeah, man. Glenn Powell. Okay, just checking. Did not make. He is an also ran for my male performances. Loved getting to see him flex his comedic chops. But man, talk about another steamy performance. Just about the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Along with playing excellently off of Glenn. Great comedic chemistry. Great chemistry in general. Yeah, I just love a sexy, funny lady. And she's, again, another role where it's like, this is where her career needs to be going. I want to say she was in, oh God, I don't know if she was in Madam Web or not, but Morbius. She was in Morbius. I think she won Worst Supporting Actress at the Razzies a couple of years ago for Morbius. And you can't take a better U-turn than working with my favorite director, Richard Linklater. So say no to the superheroes. Say yes to more movies like this, Adria.
I'll give her credit, though. She was freaking great in Andor on Disney Plus on the Star Wars story Andor. She is very, very good on a very dramatic Star Wars story.
Hey, she's killing the game. Number 2, we got perhaps the heir to the Clarice Starling throne. We've got Micah Monroe in Longlegs.
Yeah.
Woo! I've mentioned a lot of good horror. Longlegs has not come up yet. You're about to see a lot more of it from this point on. Had to have been one of my favorite horror movies last year, if not the top. Micah freaked me out. Her character is so anxious. So, seemingly, why would you get into a job like that when you have that disposition? And then you go on her Instagram, and I kind of got like a party girl vibe. It seems like it's not her at all. I didn't remember her too well from It Follows. I know that was her big breakout, but she bowled me over in this movie. Give me a whole franchise with her taking on supernatural villains like Longlegs. I thought Micah was fantastic. And I'll be honest, I think it's genre bias that she didn't get more love this season. She's not as established as Demi for that horror nomination. I'm pretty sure she can't sing as well as Cynthia for that musical fantasy nomination. But I don't know, man. Once we come to the end of the 2020s, I think you're going to see her name in this movie as an entry as far as the best performances. And number 1, no one wants the wicked. Ariana Grande. I love that face.
I love it.
Let's make that the thumbnail. I've said enough, but I'm just going to end this on one sentence. It is so rare to get to see a role that someone is seemingly born to play. But we got to see it with Ariana Grande. She is why she didn't sweep the entire season and Zoe Saldana took her Oscar. The world may never know. Was it the donuts, Reid? Was it just because of licking the donuts?
Maybe it was the donuts. It could have been SpongeBob by her side. I don't Bach. It could have been Bach by her side. I don't know. I just know that she was great. I know. She did a great job.
I know.
Look, man, it's a stacked group here. Let's go right into top 5 male performances here by these actors, leading and supporting. And man, I'm going to first off, I have an OLI in Glenn Powell. I loved him in Hitman. He is also one of my OLIs there. But number 5, number 4, they're off the beaten path, and I'm excited to share them with you.
Okay.
Number 5 for me, I have Hugh Grant in Heretic.
So excited to see that.
Oh, it's such a great movie. It is not as horror as I thought it was going to be. Much more thriller and really just like religious and theology, moral debate and discourse and discussion kind of film. I loved it. I'm a little biased because I come from the LDS background, but I think Hugh Grant was just so devilishly fun. He was having so much fun playing the villain here, and just he's wicked, but you can't tell sometimes. Oh, okay, maybe this dude is legit. No, yeah, he's definitely a creep. He's playing it. He gives you the ick. he is a great definition of the ick in this movie, and I think he played it well. I wish he had gotten some more award love this season, but he's getting it from me. Number 4, I was wondering if this guy was going to get some type of award love. Did not see it for this year, but through the Marvel drama, through the Blake Lively drama, and it ends with us. Maybe there was, things just got drowned, things got swept away, but I think he gave ultimately what I'll call an underrated performance now in what was a crowded, huge, massive blockbuster of the summer. And number 4 for me is Hugh Jackman in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, okay.
I think it was a wildly redemptive turn on the character. I think it was some of Hugh's best acting, where you can just see absolute pain and grief and regret in this dude's eyes and his face. His screaming monologue at where he's just going the fuck off on Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool in the car, where I call it his Steve Martin in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles scene. It stuck with me for so long, but he also gave a great campfire monologue to his younger clone in X-23, and it was just I thought he brought so much, so many different angles and so many different depths to a character that has been going for a long time, that he has been playing for a long time, that he'll be playing till he's 90. He brought a new look to the character, and I thought it was daring and great, and I put him at number 4 on here. Number 3, it's a movie we both love, and out of all the catty, bitchy people in the Conclave, this guy was the one to hold them all together and to hold the thing together, and it was Ralph Fiennes. I think there were so many layers to this performance. He just had lead spilling lead, like he's leading this shit, and even when he breaks down, I'm feeling for him, and I'm almost rooting for him to be the Pope, but I also believe him when he's telling me that he shouldn't be, and I'm trying to say, no, you should be Ralph Fiennes. And I know you didn't win the Oscar, so a lot of people said you should be Ralph, but God damn it, I think you did good enough to still be Rafe.
I hope he can be the real Pope after, I don't know how this guy's doing. I don't know how Francis is doing. Put Ralph Fiennes up there.
I mean, why not? Why not?
Fuck it. Pope Ralph. Pope Ralph the First.
Number 2 and number 1, though, I go chalk here, and I won't spend too much time on him because we've been talking about him for weeks. And number 2 for me is Kieran Culkin from A Real Pain. Just a performance that stuck with me, and he was just, I think, perfectly described in the film as, I want to be him, I want to kill him. Like this is a character that just had so much pain, but also so much charm. I think Kieran Culkin delivered it perfectly, and I hope he just doesn't get stuck playing characters like this from here on. Yeah. Number 1, though, the lead actor winner himself, Adrian Brody, for The Brutalist. Couldn't argue with it. I wanted to be different, but it was a performance that haunted me. I was thinking about it for days, and the entire time, outside of the opening, don't watch with your family scene, with his Milton Berle hanging out. The rest of the film, I think he was truly haunting, devastating, layered, everything that you need out of a performance, to completely forget that you're watching a film, to completely forget that you're watching an actor. He made Laszlo a living, breathing person right in front of me for the entire runtime of 3.5 hours. Loved it. I think it's a classic performance from here on out. Shout out to Adrian Brody. You win an Oscar and you're getting on my top 5.
Hell yeah, man. I'm sure he would thank you, and keep thanking you, and keep thanking you.
Yeah, he would tell us to shut the fuck up when we're trying to get him off the stage, and then he would continue to thank us.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, number 5. Really truly, this could say the Conclave ensemble. I mean, I am so glad that it specifically, if Conclave definitely would have been my second choice behind Wicked to win Best Picture. I don't care that it's the most Oscar baity of them all. It was the one that gave me the most joy last year, besides Wicked. Since we've given so much love to Lithgow, to Tooch, to Ralph, I'm going to give it to someone who's really just had one main scene. He was the first Pope that just got dealt a shitty hand, got sabotaged. I won't say by who, but, and I hope I'm not butchering this name, it is Lucian, I want to say Masamati, as Cardinal Adiyami in Conclave.
Yeah.
I loved that basically his character was just having a temper tantrum when he got confronted. He's like, I wanted it so bad.
It was such I thought of my SAT kids watching him. It was wild to watch a grown man going for the Pope do that.
Yes, it reminded me of my first graders when it's like, what do you mean I can't have recess?
I just want to be the Pope so bad.
It's a great little performance. Number 4. I kind of want to switch this out. I'm doing it. I'm going off the script.
Whoa.
I had them all written here, but what you just said, it reminded me how much this performance did not get love. I think he was only nominated for the Globes. I want to go number 4. I'm going to switch out Jesse Eisenberg for A Real Pain.
Hey, yeah, there you go. Love it.
Yeah, Kieran Culkin, this is not his fault. I know there's been a lot of discourse saying that he's playing a version of himself. Number 1, none of us know who Kieran Culkin is. We don't know what his personality is versus his persona. He brought a real depth to the role. I appreciated it. I feel like I could not personally enjoy it because I have had a Benji in my life, and his performance was hard to watch because of that fact. It is so accurate to say what Jesse Eisenberg said when he walks into a room, lights it up, and then he shits all over it. It's so real, but Jesse was going to play that role, but he decided to give it to Kieran. And at first I thought, oh, it's another Jesse Eisenberg performance. He's anxious, he's nervous, he's wearing khakis. But then you get further on in the film, and you get that monologue at the dinner table where he is so vulnerable, and he's so fucking tired of this guy that he's just letting himself go out there. I mean, it is an underrated performance, to say the least. I would have happily switched someone out from Best Actor for Jesse. Number 3, Bill Skarsgård.
The extra horny Dracula himself.
Nosferatu, man. There is no makeup that he cannot wear, whether he's wearing a clown nose or a big scary Dracula penis. Bill Skarsgård is just it's like
giant.
He's like, I feel like he's the new Doug Jones, Guillermo del Toro's muse for The Shape of Water, for Hellboy. Put him in some makeup and let him disappear.
He's a modern day Lynn damn, I'm forgetting his name. Lon Chaney.
Yes. Oh, yes. We need those guys, man.
Yeah.
We need our horror icons. And between this and It and Barbarian, he is picking up the slack for the genre. Unrecognizable, had no idea. If his name was taken off, would have no idea who played this character.
Yeah.
He just disappeared into it. And in a similar vein, number 2 is going to be Nick Cage. Crazy legs, long legs.
Crazy Nick Cage.
Crazy legs. My long legs is not as good as my Nosferatu. They really used him sparingly. I love when they use the monster in the horror sparingly. You could have shot every scene with Nick Cage in here, and I would have been glued to it, but it was so much more effective when you didn't see his face till about an hour in. And it's really, really freaky. I can't imagine better casting for Nick Cage. Really thought when I left the theater that he would have gotten some supporting actor love, but he will have to settle with my silver medal for the 323 awards. And number one, in a room, literally, a studio full of crazy characters vying for your attention in the universe and on screen, the man who held it together couldn't have had a better graduation from being Steven Spielberg's Avatar to being Lorne Michaels' Avatar. We got Gabriel LaBelle in Saturday Night.
That was an excellent.
I mean, yes, Lorne Michaels, will we ever truly know who he is? No. We know the impressions. We know Mike Myers used him as a springboard for his Dr. Evil impression. But we don't really know the man. And this is the closest I feel like I've gotten to understanding who Lorne is, this comedy kingpin. Once upon a time, he was just scared and had a dream about not wanting to change the face of comedy, but just wanting to do his own thing and wanting people to fuck off and leave him alone. Leave him alone, Milton Berle, with your giant penis.
Yeah. Big dick Milton Berle, Nosferatu of comedy.
Can we give J.K. Simmons an OLI too?
Yeah.
I feel like he's provided so much for this podcast.
He should play Nosferatu. Oh, J.K. Simmons as Milton Berle as Nosferatu, as Count Orlok.
Engrave the Oscar now, folks. Engrave the Oscar now.
Think about it, Hollywood. Love it. I love that love for Gabriel LaBelle. I'm very excited for this dude's career because I didn't even realize until like near the end of the movie. I was like, oh shit, this is the Fablemans. I was like, this is the kid from the Fablemans. Like, I was so looking forward to like what he was going to do next, and he delivered with Saturday Night. He did great as Lorne, and just like you said, a cavalcade of chaos and calamity, and this dude is the center of it and holding it down. Great job by him. Great shout by you on there. Let's finish out the awards here, buddy.
Woo!
We have our top 5 films of the year. I'll kick it off here. Of course, you got OLIs all over the place. Like Heretic did not make the cut for me. Anora, the Best Picture winner, did not make the cut for me. Number 5, something that didn't even get nominated, and I won't spend a lot of time on these because we've talked about them and praised them so much already. Saturday Night at number 5 for me is on this. Just a movie I was in love with from the start. It stressed me out. Had me howling with laughter, also had me mourning some of these beloved characters, and also made me feel so good watching everything come together. And that was just doubted and pushed apart. As creatives, we feel that process. We understand that things should fail, things will fail, things will blow up, and they will blow up even more than we thought. But we're still pursuing and fighting through. This movie really kind of inspired a little bit more for me, and with all that kind of stuff. Number 4, 3.5-hour epic itself, The Brutalist.
Let's go.
Loved it. What a transcendent story, haunting visuals. You can't ask for much more from a film. Number 3, horror film of the year, Civil War.
Yes.
It would have been higher, but damn if I don't feel like we're close to it, so it scares me a little bit more, and I'd like to get away from it. Yeah. Number 2, we have talked about this movie for weeks, for months. We have sang it for you. I know. It's Wicked. But the number 1 for me, buddy, I love this movie so much more than I thought I was going to. I will watch it whenever it comes on. It's going to be one of those movies for me. Conclave and those bitchy Cardinals.
Conclave Hive, rise.
Rise up.
Love that. Love that. Yeah, man. It's hard to beat. Yep. I'll go right through it. Number 5, my favorite horror movie of the year, Long Legs, Osgood Perkins. Really want to check out The Monkey.
I really want to check that out too.
Yeah. Number 4, turn on the news. Is it Civil War? Number 3, Saturday Night. The closest I have felt to the experience that Uncut Gems gave me, which is to say, a panic attack.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Number 2, we've got Mean Popes. It's Conclave. And number 1, I was like, Travis, is this really your number 1? Is this a corny choice? And then I thought back to 10-year-old me, whose uncle got him tickets for his very first musical theater performance. And it was Wicked at the Kennedy Center, which will be restored to its former glory. But it had to be John M. Chu's Wicked. It just brought me the most joy. It gave me so much soundtrack fuel to sing in the mail truck. It's, was it lit the best? Maybe not, motherfuckers. Maybe not. But guess what? There's no best lighting at the Oscars. And the only award show that really matters is the 3-2-3s. And Wicked walks away with the best film.
That's right. That is right. Motherfuckers. You heard him. And it's going to be the Trump Center, and you're going to like it.
Oh. It's going to be huge.
It's huge. It is Wicked. No one mourns the wicked. I've heard it. I've said it myself. No one mourns the wicked like I do. No one mourns the wicked like I do. I came to you here in Kentucky, folks, in a bubble. You saw it. I saw it.
Yes.